All right, so good evening. Last time I was in this room, I took one for the team and started off because you really can't say no to June. And so here I am again, taking one for the team. And this time I'm double mic'd and double cameraed and doubly ill-prepared. So I hope that today will go well. It was a wonderful time last time. And so I wanted to just share what I thought I could offer to the group. And always, that was well said by Jason, the kind of community that we have as a parents. And I get a chance to, every one of our events for our children, get to share and eventually come across people's insights on LeBron James and insights on the Steve Jobs and the insights on the economy and the world happenings. And you begin to realize you're in a pretty special crowd. Then sometimes you even get forwarded, hey, did you know this is who this is? And it's just intimidating to be in a group of such talented and accomplished people. And so when I was invited to say, come back the second time, I said, well, what am I going to be able to offer this group? And then I began to think, I almost did a graph, and I did a visual graph on what I have that might be a benefit to the group. And I realized that the only gold medal I might have in this group, if we were to do any kind of Olympics in any area, would be in the amount of kids I have and the span that I have. And so I figured I would take, what can I take from my experience? And what might you be able to take from me reflecting on this experience of having some dynamic children, four of which I'm blessed to raise. So there is, I spent 8 years teaching public speaking for engineers. And engineers constantly combat the idea that they have the ability to be persuasive. And so you have to, essentially, I spent 10 weeks every quarter trying to persuade them that they can do it. And after about my third year, I started realizing they were right, and that I became less and less persuasive as the years went on, and figured I needed a career change, and so I've since changed. But now that I'm raising children, I'm figuring out there might be something that I had in my innocent first 3 years, that everybody, all of us, have some elements about us that make us persuasive. And the rationale for that is witnessing my kids. And so I poured out a sheet of paper and trying to illustrate now, and just by way of illustration, what I mean by if we can pull together the pieces of the attributes that we have as children, that we could all be persuasive in the very many aspects that we have in our lives, personal, professional, and social alike. So I would like to just get some feedback as to what you think this image is. A person riding a bicycle. That's when you know you're in a talented group of people, because you're getting close. If I rearrange these same elements, any guess?
A person doing yoga.
A person doing yoga. That's even better. I mean, we got that it was a person, and here we go. I get everybody can say what this is, or what this is. Oh, this is the summation almost of all my 4 kids. It's a I don't want to say asexual, but you could. I mean, it's both the boys and the girls with the hair, and it to me has the 3 elements of what I think persuasion exists within all of them, and it is halo. Halo, an argument of the values that we all kind of attach to, and the way I'll share some stories, hopefully, that illustrate how they're able to pull on all of our morals that we have within our house. The head, the logic, logos, if you will, and then the heart. The emotions that my children pull out and pull on every day. And so I had this elaborate idea of trying to put together this piece of a hustler, especially after the inspiration from last time. And then a week ago happened on me, and then yesterday happened on me, and then 2 hours happened on me. And I thought I was going to have a very nice illustration. I had to pull that out before I got here. So my stories might not be as elaborate, but I hope we take away a couple nice points. The first one is the halo that I mentioned. 3 H's: halo, head, and heart. That go back to the very, I'm sure many of us are familiar with the Aristotle logos, pathos, and ethos, and this is kind of a fun way to illustrate that. And I was calling my wife on the way here and saying, like, I'm very sorry. First of all, anyone who was at the first grade culmination knew I wasn't there, and it was because I was not able to get away from work, and so I had to beg and plead to come away for this. And so as I'm on my way driving here, I'm talking with Tam, and she's giving me stories over the last, day and a half of how these kids exemplify this. So hopefully in the last day and a half I can illustrate these 3 points. The values were so funny because according to Tam, they were in Best Buy in East Palo Alto, and Tati and Tammy and Taya were all with them and the whole nine, and they're exiting out going back to the car. And Tatiola has just a sweet tooth, and she knows the answer when it's a Slurpee or when it's some soda, or she knows that answer. But she catches her eyes on that colorful Jamba Juice, way over about 500 meters away, and she asks the question to Tam, "Mommy, you want us to be healthy, right?" and Mommy, you want us to have more fruits and vegetables, right? And Tamara found herself, of course, being extremely proud that she aligned with that value and that she recognized that value. And then Tati goes on to say, "Well, Jamba Juice is right there. Can we please, have some Jamba Juice? And we'll even get the ones with no sugar." And so I realized that story was just one of the many stories that illustrate how when you align with a value that is shared amongst the audience, not just shared, because Tati has all the value in the world for sweets and for sugar, but when it's shared amongst the audience, then if you can align those two, you can get your way. And now I'm even beginning to think, even just reminiscing, thinking about how I could use that with me and getting some more mornings on Sunday mornings to play some ball. Somehow, Tom is shaking his fist. Like, I have not been able to make the argument on why Sunday mornings are good for family day. The only family day we have is good for me to go out with a bunch of guys and play basketball. But now I think that if I align with our collective family value of connecting with the wave of community and how opportune that time is, then I might be able to spend some more time. So I hope to see some of you guys out pretty soon. The second one is the head, the logic. And when I was calling Tayo, I realized that Tayo, very early on with his wave of training, is picking up very well on how to use logic to his advantage. Because today, he told me that all the good dads were there. And so yeah. And so I said, oh, well, he's pulling out the statistic. And I know that I know he might even follow that up with there's another chance you can, if you would be a good dad, maybe you get some Legos if you got to make up for that. And using some logic that if you want to be have the attribute of a good father, here's the ways you can do that. And our kids do that all the time to us, and I think it's something that we could all take about using logic and statistics and the whole nine. I also think that logic, using your expertise and your experience, is one that we can watch and see our children use. And Tyle, being the oldest, is the best at doing that. Even when I was calling Tam in the back there, I just asked them, well, what are they doing? And they're playing with the blocks. And Tyle, every time they're about to play with some games, will quickly pull his card of living longer, 15 months longer than his baby sister, as to why he should try to be able to do that first, or why he should have the first dibs to the seat, or why he should be able to, play with something first or longer. That is his thing. And so using expertise and pulling on that is also another attribute of logic that I think we could all take. The last one is one of that of the emotions. And I think that my baby son is best at that. That when you're able to pull on the heartstrings and there's no logic to justify what you need to do, and there's no moral value that you need to appeal to, that just simply drawing out the emotional appeal is something that we can learn from. And Taye, my youngest, does that so well, just by the nature of him being so young. I think in just by being that young, that small, it pulls on the heartstrings. I learned that, and even just reflecting on how this can affect our lives, I'm learning that with youth development, I take very contentious environment, political environment in the communities that we serve. And I find that when the young people are the ones presenting, we can't argue with that. And so if we can find a way to allow us to deliver whatever our persuasive argument is in a way that pulls on heartstrings and the emotional appeals, we'll be successful. So thank you very much for your time. I hope I warmed it up. I hope I gave some points that you can draw upon as we share in the rest of the evening. And let's have a good evening.